This is not clickbait, this is 100% legit. I came off whey protein for around 2 months, and the reason being, basically,
it was just making me really ill.
Like I was throwing up every time I consumed any kind of whey protein. I've used the same protein from My Protein for 3.5 years. I was halfway through the bag, so it's not like I've started using a different protein. Another thing that people might assume is that maybe they're going to think, oh, I'm lactose intolerant, I've got some kind of allergy. And the answer is no, because I've had these tests done like not so long back, so it's not that. I went to a doctor, I've seen 2 doctors, and they literally had no idea why my body wasn't agreeing with it. Now that I've literally just told you about a story you probably do not give a monkey's about, I'm going to talk to you about the myths of whey protein, the pros, the cons, and which whey protein you should buy if you're going to buy it, because there's like a few different types, and ultimately like whether you should consume whey protein or not. Alright, let's start with myth number 1, being that people think that protein is going to make them bulky, and that is like definitely not true. There's people out there training relentlessly that want to get bulky and they struggle. You know, consuming protein isn't going to make you bulky. What's going to make you bulky is eating a surplus of calories for like a lengthy period of time and training hard and getting stronger. Consuming whey protein is not going to do that. You're going to get bulky from eating too much. Myth number 2 is that protein damages our kidneys. I've literally never seen one single study that suggests that. So if you can find me a source that does provide evidence of that, then please share it with me, because it's not true. Myth number 3, which is like quite a funny one to be honest, it's where people rush around trying to get a whey protein immediately after they finish their session in the gym. Like, you do not need to do that. As long as you're hitting your protein requirements for the day and you're spreading your protein evenly throughout the day, that is the main thing. I'd argue that it's way more important to have your protein pre-workout rather than post-workout, because your body's still going to be digesting that protein that you consumed from your pre-workout meal. But, keyword there being but, I would advise consuming a post-workout protein source as well as a pre-workout protein source. Again, all that's doing is just spreading your protein throughout the day. But yeah, you definitely don't need to be running around like a madman thinking that you're going to lose all your gains if you don't manage to get a protein source in straight after your workout. Moving on from the myths, let's talk about the pros of consuming whey protein. So first one being that it's just convenient. To have it literally whenever on the go, it's just ideal, and you know, it's easy protein to get in your diet. Another pro is that it's just going to help you be more flexible with your diet, because it's low calorie and high protein. It's going to allow you to have more room for other things in your diet. Pro number 3 is just that your body can digest it easily. Another thing is that it's got all the amino acids, so it's a complete protein, which is superior to an incomplete protein. And the last pro that I can think of, there's probably a few more, but these are my 5. The last one is that financially it's pretty sound. If you think about how much, say like 5 kilos of whey protein costs and how much protein you get out of that in comparison to if you bought it all through like chicken breast, like the chicken's going to be way more expensive than buying the whey protein. So in terms of cost, it's pretty ideal. Now let's talk about the cons of consuming whey protein. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, there isn't any, but I'm going to give you these 2 which I don't think are actually cons, but you can decide. So the first one being that your body might not agree with it. Like for me, it was making me ill. Now you're probably thinking like, how can I not think that's a con? The reason being, any food can make you feel like that. So you can't exclusively say, oh, whey protein can make you feel bad. Like that, to me, isn't a con. Like any food can do that. The second con I can think of is that whey protein contains sweeteners. Now there isn't actually any research to suggest that any of the sweeteners used in whey protein can be bad for us. So again, it's like inconclusive whether it is bad or not, whether it's a con. Anyway, let's talk about protein that you should consume. Like there's a few different types. So you've got your standard like whey protein. So this is the concentrated version. You've got the whey protein isolate. So speaking of which, I've had a delivery, so let me show you that.
Show you what I've ordered.
This isn't a My Protein ad, by the way. I'm certainly not sponsored by My Protein. I just order from there because it's cheap and the products are sound. So I've got some creatine, pre-workout, peanut butter, some whey protein isolate. So why buy protein isolate? in comparison to your just standard concentrated whey protein. The main difference, to be honest with you, between the two is that the isolate is going to have gone through a more filtered process, so there's going to be less fats, less carbs, less lactose in comparison to the concentrated. Other proteins you may have heard of, so casein protein and vegan protein. So I'll cover the vegan protein first. The main thing you've got to be aware of is the ingredients in there. So with vegan proteins, there's a chance that it might not be a complete protein, meaning that it's not got all the amino acids in there. So there's 21 amino acids. Our body can produce all of them but 9. So the main thing you've got to look out for is making sure you're getting all them amino acids. And the other whey protein you may have heard of is casein. So the main advantage from casein powder is it's just going to help with your satiety, meaning it's going to help you feel fuller for longer because it's a slower digesting protein. Anyway, that is it. I always say anyway when I need to break something up. That's the end of the video. That's all I've got to talk about today. I'm getting sick of speaking and listening to my own voice. So if you like the video or you learned something, please drop the video a like, subscribe obviously if you haven't already, and yeah, see you later.